it's better. Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel today. I'm doing this on the fly because I'm actually got a dance class in a couple of hours, so I have to do this on the go. So today I'm actually going to be doing a book review of Viola Davis's book Finding Me. The book is absolutely kind of breathtaking. In some parts I cried, in some parts I was like, wow, is she ever going to kind of make it out? Then I realized I'm not reading about a kind of fictional character. This is actually an award-winning Emmy actress who unveiled her life for the world to read, taking center stage in a very kind of dysfunctional environment. I had to check when this book was obviously written, because I felt that she was very much speaking to me in terms of self-love and knowing your worth. This is the book called Finding Me, and it reminds me of a book called Ugly. This autobiography is a must read because it highlights the complexities of a dark and brown skinned black woman in America trying to kind of break into the kind of acting world, constantly being reminded of your past whilst trying to kind of reinvent your future in a kind of competitive and judgmental world. I'm telling you, the book is like cake. Once you read it, or once you start reading it, you just want more and more and more, because you just want more and more, because you as the reader is thinking to yourself, Jesus, Viola, surely it can't get any kind of worse than this. Now, the main themes and messages in the book for me as the reader, there were kind of four main themes that were touched on in the book. They were colorism, environment, life, and representation. So Violet grew up in Central Falls in New York, 128 Park Street, and then later on to kind of Park Street, but was born on a plantation. Me talking about it, it makes me teary-eyed, because my God, child, it's basically heart-wrenching, but it's her story, it's her truth. So let's get into it. Like, her environment growing up was a struggle from childhood to adolescence to adulthood. It was like a never-ending cycle of hardships. It was like, are you going to ever break this hate spirit? It was a constant fight. It was a constant fight to survive from where she kind of lived, being in a kind of toxic environment with her parents, and the things that she had to witness, being bullied at school by other kids who did not want to embrace or even acknowledge that they were just like her, black. Her losing herself at Juilliard, but then finding herself again on her trip to Africa. What stood out for me is that she never let her environment deter her. In the chapter Starting Block, which is a number 10 in the book, Ron, who was her acting coach, asked a group of 14 individuals, which Viola was obviously a part of, a series of questions of whether or not they were actually ready and wanted to be actors. My point is this: when you come from a place of poverty, you're shamed, you're frowned upon, you're spoken about in a kind of a negative light. Absolutely nothing phases you. Hard work, that's a walk in the park, especially when you're sitting there and you're killing mice every day. as she explained in the book. Another obviously theme is colorism. The issue of colorism is prevalent in the black culture, not just kind of amongst us as people, but in the workplace and the workforce as well. Viola highlighted this, that obviously when she auditioned for certain roles, that when she auditioned for certain roles that were considered black for a person of her skin type, she would get it. Things have evolved since then. More black women of all shades are getting their recognition, and they deserve, even though they are having to fight for it. Viola did not allow her kind of scars, her obstacles, her adversity phase her. She embraced, and she shows us what she is made of through her work. Yeah, through her work. Life. That's another theme in the book. One thing that she mentioned in the latter part of this book, part of her book, was living life. Yes, you are chasing your dreams, but you can't just do that. You have to work, you have to live life and embrace it, because at the end of the day, life is what you make it, and you don't want it to just pass you by without having lived representation. This is big. Now, representation for me matters, and she highlights it, and it's a big theme throughout the book. Representation matters as another theme that obviously screams through the book. If you don't see people that look like you, be it black, brown, or white, women of all shades and all sizes, if one particular shade is favored over another, how are you going to think anything is possible if you don't see people like you doing it big, not just necessarily in music, but in other genres as well, or niches as well? Tyson on TV, she knew that that was her way out if she worked hard. My point is this: women are underpaid compared to their kind of male counterparts in general, irrespective of their kind of talent and experience. I remember once I saw Viola being interviewed, and she obviously mentioned, or she made it known, that despite going to the same establishments or same educational establishments as some of her peers who are well known, she's still very much underpaid. This is one of the many reasons why it's important that the film industry and entertainment industry, film industry and entertainment industry in general pay women their worth, irrespective of their race or size. Book is like an open wound of scars broken up into different chapters, enticing the reader to get to know Viola on a kind of deep level as she kind of examines her life unfiltered. She really gives us the journey of personal growth and essentially putting herself first in order to win. She tells the story of when she would obviously send money back home to her parents, and then one day, she tells what story when she would send money back home to her parents, and then one day the bill that they requested was so high, her friend turned around and said to her, "Who is going to help you if you are in a hole?" Which made her realize putting yourself first, it's not selfish, it is necessary if you are to grow, to be quite honest. To be quite honest, it made me look at myself. Am I putting myself first? Am I doing stuff that it's not conducive to where I want to be, that it's not helping me grow or aligning with the things that I want? Or am I just taking or is it just taking, or am I putting myself in situations that is just taking from me? Now, relationships in the book is another theme. In the book, we come across different relationships. Her relationship with her parents, her relationship with her siblings, um, and her relationships and her relationship with her partners. Despite her relationships being quite challenging, she always found a way to navigate from negative to positive. But one relationship she did not, well, but one relationship she did mention was quite intriguing, to say the least. So she grew up in a neighborhood where she was the minority. Now in an environment where she was a majority, it was hard for her to be accepted. However, it all worked out in her favor. As the more exposure you have to different races and cultures, the more you are able to relate, have conversation, and just be open to different cultures and different ways of life. Exposure is good. Book is an amazing read, and it makes us check if you are being true to your highest self. Anyway, that's all for now. Peace out. Take care. Bye.